What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Vontae the First. We're back again for another video. You already know, last video for Fire Force, last reaction, we did 2 chapters in that one. We did chapter 285 and 286. Great chapters. You already know. Benimaru, 285. He did his thing, defeated his doppelganger with the swiftness. I can't wait to see all this shit animated. Like, it's been crazy fights, a lot of crazy panels. Everything's just been dope. Great dialogue. It's just been, I don't know. Fire Force, like I always say, it's underrated as fuck. It's the most underrated anime that I've ever seen from me. I don't really have a huge anime catalog, but I've probably seen like, I don't know how many I've seen, maybe like 50, but finished or caught up about half. So, you know what I'm saying? But, well, not 50, maybe a little bit more than 50, but it's whatever. But, yeah, so the last chapter, so the one after that one, 286, we seen Shinra and Sho. They both went to the eye of the Adolla world, and they went through and they were seeing all the stuff in the past, basically like our life, like our, you know, us, our reality, real life, like us. It was showing stuff like wars, natural disasters, so all man-made disasters, natural disasters, artificial, all that, you know, I'm about to say good stuff, all that bad shit, you know what I'm saying? And I love Okubo when he does that. He always implements all these like real life scenes within this manga, and that's pretty dope. I haven't seen no other mangaka do that from what from the shit that I've read and watched. So I find that hella interesting. And of course, that's the stuff that's in the past, because they did say that, you know, during the cataclysm back then, that stuff was differently, people look differently, and then it's essentially like breaking the fourth wall, but at the same time, it's an actual thing within the story. So I always find that dope as well. But yeah, so at the end of the chapter, we seen them pull up to the rest of the pillars, except for Iris and Nataku. We seen Sumire and Inka. They were there with Haumea. And Haumea, she's taking off her crown right now. And the chapter ended saying, well, I guess the title for this chapter says something about the woman of despair. I believe that's what it said. So I'm getting to the chapter now. I can already see her face, kind of, well, not necessarily, only her mouth and nose. But I've been waiting to see her face for a while. I used to predict that she was like Arthur's twin or some shit. I don't know. That's usually been my prediction, because they had plasma and they were both blonde and all that. But anyway, let's get into this next chapter. You feel me? I've been rambling too much, so let's get into it. The young saint closed her beautiful eyes until the promised day. So she looks like she was like a nun or like a saint or something like that. Interesting. She closed herself off from the light and in turn received God's divine revelation. She seeked the light that dwelled deep within the darkness. Eventually, the filthy emotions of the humans started flowing into her, yet the young saint simply kept her eyes closed and bared all. Upon opening her eyes, she realized, that's a dope-ass eye right there. Oh, wow. Man, Okubo's art is just so good, bro. It's so good. Chapter 287, The Holy Woman of Despair. Her eye was looking down on earth. Look at the eye. That shit looked crazy. Once her pure eyes were finally opened, she first let down a single tear. It was for the sake of the warrior who fought for her until the bitter end. Boy, Sharon, I call him Sharon because Black Tyrone. Y'all get it. And then she offered her praise to the light at the end of a long darkness. Oh, destined brothers. Man, you got Shinra and Sho. She talking to them. Her eyes filled with compassion and sorrow seemed to soak up everything around it. Damn, I don't know why I expected her eye, well, not necessarily expected, but I started to think that they was gonna make her eyes like kind of like demonic or dark or some shit. But this is actually what I wanted. I wanted to see her eyes more, I mean, it doesn't really have no hope in there. It's filled with sorrow, despair, and all that. But I like it. I wonder if it's like blue or something, or maybe it's gray. Maybe it's yellow. Who knows? I don't know. I think blue would make more sense for like sorrow, sad, you know what I'm saying? That kind of tone. But I really like how her eyes look. She has big ass pupils. Well, not really pupils. Well, yeah, or whatever. But yeah, she looked dope. The siblings who were capable of stopping time were captivated by the saint's compassion, freezing them in place. Inka, Sumire, come to me. The girl who could see the future saw an ill fate for herself in the hand offered to her, Inka, and yet she took it without hesitation. Both disgust and destruction. Oh shit, she burning them? Oh shit. Of course Inka loved that shit. That's crazy. A person's death, it is both despair and salvation. Finally, thank you so much. Wow. Shit. Hey, she look kind of thick right there, you know what I'm saying? You know what saying? She don't got that thing right there, you know what I'm saying? But that's crazy. How could you do that? She was the saint. The saint was the person I'm most saddened. The saint was the person most saddened by what happened. Such truth is undeniable. How could you do that to your allies? Shinra asking her, yelling at her, like, what the fuck you doing, bitch? You know what I'm saying? What, you just killed them and shit? What are you doing? That's your allies. Death is the only true salvation. So that's, okay. That's pretty much known through the evangelists, that death is kind of like, yeah, that's like the offering to God. That's just, you know, the only true salvation in life. So I can kind of see what this is going to go. It's probably going to be like a clash of ideals between her and the brothers, Shinra and Sho. Like, hell it is. You can't just decide that. You're right, brother. However, only a God has the power to justify such an inconsistency. I like that. That's interesting. And not only just like a God, but anybody that can win some kind of situation, like, I don't know, like, say for example in wars in the past, right? Or war in general. Whenever the side wins who puts in the most work, or who just won, like clearly won, they're the ones that kind of create or recreate the narrative of the world at that point in time. Like America, for example, after World War II, we became like the big brother of, you know, all the countries in the world and such. And it's like, when you have that, when the Americans are like pitched as the hero, or any country or any side, you know, is pitched as the hero, they have, you know, the leeway to kind of, narratively speaking, just switch whatever they want in society, make whatever laws and orders and all that shit so that people can follow that. You know, they're like the order. They're like, they feel that their word is just, or at least they believe that their word is just, and that's just how it is. And just in countries in general, all the laws that we go by as citizens that we have to follow is all because of the government put those laws, you know. So whatever happens, if we were to overthrow, if somebody were to overthrow the government and then they change the laws, if they were to succeed and win against the government, they change it, and then now that's the new just, or, you know, the new order essentially. So that's, I like that Show brought that up. That's actually really interesting, because it could be something so fucked up or very immoral, but just like this, killing people, like having them all just die from this crazy disaster, it's crazy. And that's just how it is. That's how the evangelist kind of pitches it as, like, it's just a just way of what's happening. So if Shinra and Sho wins here, they will be the ones that have that kind of, I guess, authority in a way to say that whatever they did is just, or however they want to recreate the world, and it's going to be a just world in their view. So that's just how it always will be. But it's interesting that Show brought that up. Like I said, absorbing all of mankind's collective unconscious, all of mankind's creations, the gods throughout history. And we learned about that was kind of all fake, because the evangelists pretty much created all of that kind of stuff, all the propaganda and, you know, the politics, religion, all that stuff. As of this moment, that's the kind of God Haumea is. This is interesting. So is Haumea technically like the goddess of this world, or is the evangelist still technically like, or maybe Haumea is kind of used in a way where she's kind of like Jesus, for example, you know, for a lot of people that are Christian or Catholic and all that, kind of like, or mostly Christian, because I know it's different, you know, Christianity and Catholicism. That's a Catholicism. Wow. Catholicism is a little, you know, it's a little different and whatnot. But like, you know, you have the, I could be getting all this shit wrong, but it's like Jesus, God, and I forgot, the Holy Trinity. You get what I'm saying? So it's like Haumea, the evangelist, and maybe the Catholicism, all that is all like, you know, in a triangle or whatever. They all kind of coexist with one another. At least that's what they're trying to do. The evangelist, you finally show yourself. Yeah, the evangelist came out, and we're looking back at those natural disasters, some real images. I love that shit so much. The evangelist's true form is the despair we saw on the way here. Okay. You are correct. As a saint, I've been the receptacle for humanity's collective unconscious. Huh. But what is the evangelist? What is unconsciousness? I now know the answers. So is the evangelist actually I feel like, is she trying to say that the evangelist is not necessarily a god in terms of it being somebody that kind of created all this, but more so humanity created the evangelist through their like emotions, kind of like Jujutsu Kaisen. You know how like basically bad emotions or negative emotions kind of create curses essentially, or they kind of aggravate curses to even pop up. I feel like that's kind of like what this is. It's like they're kind of like making like all of humanity, everything created. That's actually a really interesting twist. Humanity created God essentially. It made that idea to reality, and then that reality turned into like an actual being, a sentient being, and then through that God, aka the evangelist, has kind of just put a whole set of like just craziness to the world, and these are the evangelist's disciples. That's actually really interesting. Wow, that's really interesting. So the humans created the God, and then the God kind of dictates shit for humanity. That's really interesting. Huh. Wow. Okay, let me continue. This is getting interesting. The spoken words of a saint must only be truth. The siblings knew she could tell no lies. So what was the answer? The final point of imagination at the end of its evolution, humanity desires its own extermination. God didn't create humanity. Humanity created God from their despair. So that's what I'm getting. I don't know if it's metaphorical or if it's actually like she's being dead ass. Like this is like what I was saying just a second ago about how humanity created God essentially, and then God kind of started to dictate humanity, or you know what I'm saying? Let me continue though. And then God gave birth to more despair. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm trying to get to. So it's like humanity created God, and then God in return creates despair due to humanity's kind of own self greed in trying to exterminate themselves, even though that's not actually true. But it's interesting nonetheless, very interesting. But what is God? That's the question she asked. The sun God, that's what Shinra says. And she says, right, religion, friends, information, science, art, culture, family. And then I like how they looked at each other after she said that. Bros, it could be anything as long as it provides salvation. Okay. But humanity's history on the other side of that salvation was war, slaughter, accidents, disasters, sickness. Many new despairs were born. I like that panel. And so learning from those despairs, humanity acquired ethics, values, medicine, technology, and laws. Huh. Okay. So the despair was kind of the first thing that happened. That's what they're kind of trying to say. And then from learning from that, they try to reconstruct to, you know, be more ethical and have more values and all this other stuff, you know, these creations, inventions, all that. Interesting. I love that panel as well. You see like the little equilibrium thing right there that I guess goddess is holding, and then you see all the people that are following that, and you see that the goddess has like a sword in her hand, and you see the chains from the god to the people. That's really cool. What is that called? Ah, fuck. It's the allegory. I forgot what it's called. I think y'all probably know what I'm talking about. The caveman allegory or something like that, where it's like each person has like a certain role, and then some people are able to see like behind the cave or something, and some people that can't see shit, they're looking directly at the wall. And then you have the sun, essentially like the god. That man, Okubo is a genius, man. I know I roughly explained what that was, but I'm kind of forgetting. But I remember learning that before in one of my classes in college. Civilization advanced, the value of their souls increased, and they managed to keep death at bay. And so humanity earned safety. But had they really? The safer they got, the stronger was their salvation. Death became more frightful, the fear in their hearts got stronger, and despair became stronger still. What do you think came after? Shinra, young savior, in order to stop that cycle of salvation and despair, is there any true salvation other than death? The answer found from humanity's history of despair. Can Shinra find salvation that surpasses it? To be continued in chapter 288. What is salvation? I love this chapter, and I think I'm going to love the next chapter even more. I can't wait to hear Shinra's answer to this. Okubo is, man, I'm going to have to keep making more videos about this guy, man. Even after, the manga ends, I'm going to have to keep talking about it. Okubo is so underrated. It's a crime how underrated he is. Yes, you know, Fire Force does have like a big following. It does. So I'm actually very glad that it does. It actually has an anime, you know, it had 2 seasons. I think were pretty successful. The manga sales did good. So hopefully they do get that season 3 and maybe 4, unless they put everything in 3 or whatever. But man, Okubo, he just knocks it out of the park every single time. I love this guy's writing. He's a genius, man. I don't say that about a lot of people. I say that about Isayama. I said that about Gege, but I might have to say that about Okubo too. Out of all the things I've read and watched, there are some geniuses. Because not only are they actually using and going beyond the boundaries of actually putting realism into into fiction, they do it really well. It's not like they're just throwing shit in there and it's like breaking the fourth wall, ha ha ha, and you know, all that kind of shit. No, they're actually bringing that shit from the real world and putting it in this fictional world. And Fire Force does it really good, like just as good as Attack on Titan in my opinion. If not, it actually goes even further because Fire Force literally says that humanity, like our world, is essentially literally the same thing as Fire Force. Okubo has done this thing where he's blended like 100% blended the real world into his own created story. It's really interesting. I really love it. I love it a lot, man. And I always have so much fun reading Fire Force. Y'all can see it. My energy be a lot higher for Fire Force. I love Attack on Titan. I love Jujutsu Kaisen. I love My Hero, but Fire Force is just so consistent. The other ones, they have their ups and downs here and there, but like Fire Force has been so consistent, in my opinion. It's been so consistent. So I really can't wait to see his answer, man. Hopefully it don't take like 2 weeks to see that chapter, because man, I really want to know what Shinra is going to say, or maybe even show what are they going to say, because Haumea thinks that, or she strongly believes that the only salvation is death. And I think Shinra is going to probably tell her like, well, you know, everybody's going to die. Literally, that's something that you can't deny, you can't prevent, you can't avoid. But the one thing is that everybody probably deserves, you know, to live their own life and dictate their own lives like they should accordingly until their death. I think that's what he's going to say. Because you can't just, you know, have this like you can't romanticize about death without romanticizing about life, because they're both yin and yang. So it's like, in order to have it completely equal, just like that panel show with the goddess holding the equilibrium thing, the scales, you gotta have people to live and people to die. You can't just kill everybody just out of nowhere. You gotta actually allow them to live their own lives their way, because like they said in this chapter, any god can just justify any inconsistency. And so it's like, you know, I don't think that's a great, you know, ideology for billions of people. Everybody should have their own life that they're, you know, they have this role in society that they do. That's what Okubo has been pitching to us, to Maki. Just the whole thing about her body, her like actually cherishing her body versus other people that was just talking shit about her. And, you know, Shinra being a hero, Obi being like this bridge that's keeping everything together with Company 8. You got Sho, you got all these other people. We got Licht, he's a scientist. We have Joker in the darkness. We have all these people that have all these roles. So it's like, it's just showing that every individual is very important. They're very unique. They have a purpose, and they should live out that purpose until death. Salvation, literally, the death of people, like she says, it shouldn't be done quicker. It shouldn't be forced upon people. They should actually live out their lives until their very death. You know what I'm saying? So technically, she can still get what she wants or what she believes in, but not in such of a crazy way where you're just throwing the whole world in fire and flames. Let people live out their lives and they will all seek that end no matter what. True salvation. I've seen it in other stories like Vinland Saga, when the priest was talking to Canute about death, that basically, you know, or about life, that basically a man becomes beautiful when he dies, because essentially he doesn't have the ability to hurt or mess up anything, you know what I'm saying, to not taint anything in the world. He's bringing his body back to nature or whatnot. His soul gets released and all that. So it's like, it's similar here. It's like death, that's kind of what has been pitched. So I'm loving seeing the parallels between different series. I know they could be very indirect. They could be very direct. I don't know, you know, but like, I just love seeing stuff like this when people talk about life and what they think about life. I seen this in Attack on Titan towards the end when Armin and Zeke were talking to each other in the past world. It's just, my bad for spoilers for Attack on Titan people. My bad. You probably don't really know what. My bad. But anyway, yeah. So I just love this series, man. This chapter is a 10 out of 10 in my book. The next chapter might end up going to 11 out of 10, depending on Shinra's answer. I can't wait to see that shit, man. I love Fire Force, man. I really do. That's why it's in my top 5. Comfortably in my top 5. And I know a lot of people probably wouldn't even have any top 5 unless they barely seen, you know, any anime. But out of all the anime I've seen and manga that I've read, this is top notch. It really is. But like I tell you guys in every video, please like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you fuck with your boy. If you don't fuck with me, you don't have to like, you don't have to subscribe. You can dislike, you do what you gotta do, you know what I'm saying? I ain't tripping. But and also, like I say in every video, please stay safe, stay healthy, stay clean. I'll see you guys all in the next video. No My Hero on Friday. Have JJK on Sunday. I might do some stuff in between, who knows, but always stay tuned for my channel because you never know what you're going to get. And hopefully you guys can enjoy whatever it will be, and I'll try my best to ensure that you guys have a seat here and stay, and you know what I'm saying, just listen to me, and maybe eventually we can even discuss stuff in the comments even more, because I do discuss stuff in the comments, and maybe even in a Discord call or whatever. We never know. But until then, see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And peace.